Hi guys, this is gsandon.com and I'm here with a review of the HTC U11, and we've already pulled off a hands-on at the device's launch in mid-May, and now it's time for the full review. This is actually an older acquaintance of ours. We knew it back in the day when it was called HTC Ocean, and everybody talked about the fact that it's going to bring a new paradigm of control without buttons and with squeezes of these sides. Yes, we can squeeze the sides to trigger a variety of features, but more about that later in the review. First, let's talk about the Premiere. This is the first Snapdragon 835 phone we test, and it's priced at $649. Now, on the design front, you saw our review for the HTC U Ultra. It's basically the same thing, only smaller, more compact. It's an evolved model. It's still very slippery. It uses that special 3D liquid surface glass that catches the light in a pretty original fashion, truly in a liquid-like manner, and it's a water-resistant phone within the IP67 standards. Now, it measures 7.9mm in thickness, like the Galaxy S7, and it weighs 169 grams. Well, for a 5.5 incher, it's a bit big, but still better than the iPhone 7 Plus, and it's 188 grams. It's also 1 gram lighter than the HTC U Ultra, in case you were wondering. It's once again pretty slippery, and because it's quite a wide phone, it's not very easy to wield with a single hand, so you may be willing to use both hands when wielding the handset. Now, it's made of glass panel at the front, glass panel at the back, and a metal frame between them, pretty sturdy one from what I hear. Catches the light in original fashion. It's a pretty polarizing phone. Some people may dig this, some people may not. Comes in silver, blue, black, white or red, and in the end, polarizing design. I like it, but some of you maybe don't. Now, on the display front, 5.5 incher 3D glass, Super LCD 5, Gorilla Glass 5 protection, and a Quad HD resolution. On account of the fact we do not have a video player, I'm going to go ahead and use photos to do our video playback test. Okay, so here we are. This is our typical video sample, and the experience is quite bright. The colors are well calibrated within the sRGB standard and also quite vivid. I would say they're less vivid than on an AMOLED. We got wide view angles, pretty wide I would say, and the contrast was rather reasonable in sunlight. Now, we put this screen under the microscope and found the pixel arrangement to be of the RGB stripes kind. Then we measure the brightness, achieving 409 lux units. This is only okay for a flagship, just okay, and it's actually on the 89th spot from all the phones we've tested so far. It placed below the iPhone 7, Nexus 6P, Huawei P10, but above the Lee Echo, Lee Max 2 and the Galaxy Note 4. Now, in order to tune the screen further, of course, you're going to use options. So we go to the display gestures and buttons area, got glove mode, font size, display size, which can be set up here. Let's see what else we have. Brightness level, color temperature, can be warmer or colder. Got a night mode, so you can filter out the blue light and sleep better. And screen timeout, navigation button backlight, and screensaver. Plus some gestures, motion launch gestures, and so forth. Okay, so overall a pretty solid screen, and not judging by the number, by the lux meter, I would say it's quite good, but the lux meter tells a different story. Now that we are done with the display, it's time to address the other bits of hardware. I'm talking about the powerful Snapdragon 835 processor here, accompanied by 4GB of RAM and 64GB of storage, as well as a micro SD card slot, which is also available on the phone. As you can see, fluidity is not a problem here. Everything is extra fluid. You can have all the apps you want open at the same time, even hardcore games. Enter your app you have never entered before. Starts up like a champ. You just saw a very fast and snappy animation, so things are fine as far as fluidity and functioning is concerned. Now, we have fast app opening, and the games also work fine. We use Riptide GP Renegade, our benchmark game, and guess what? We also play the game from Gameloft. It's called Iron Blade, and it has high-end graphics. It's a 2GB game, and also ran like a champ and looked quite nice. So that was a benchmark, this is a benchmark, everything is a benchmark gaming wise if you play games launched over the past year. And this is certainly a looker, as you can see, nice looking water, pretty well rendered. I'm loving the frame rate here. I can actually tell there's a higher frame rate than on the previously tested phones. Of course, lately we've tested more lower end or mid-range devices, so loving the frame rate. Okay, the gaming checks out, the regular functioning checks out, let's see how we're doing in the benchmark area. That requires the use of screenshots. Okay, so screenshots, we did the usual tests talking about Quadrant, Antutu, Geekbench, and so forth, and guess what? This phone actually placed on the first spot in a ton of them. So in Antutu 6 we are second placed only to the iPhone 7 Plus, and we actually beat the Galaxy S8, or at least the unit of the S8 we had to test now. In Geekbench 4, this is it, very impressive scores. The multi-core subtest had us on the second spot, slightly below the Galaxy S8. And I also promised you Quadrant, should be here somewhere. There's a lot of benchmarks, folks. As you can see, we did all of them, all the famous ones. Well, in Quadrant we're 9th placed, just so you know, here we are. And we beat the LG G5, but scored below the HTC 10, so not exactly very relevant this one. Now in 3D Mark iStorm Unlimited, I would say it's a crazy score, haven't seen that before. We usually get 20k or 15k, but 40k, it's first place for sure. Also first place in Basemark X, so basically a powerhouse of a phone. And it also does not get hot, as you can see here, quite reasonable temperatures, 37.1 when playing the game you saw before, Riptide GP Renegade, and 34.6 degrees Celsius when running GFX Bench. There's no overheating here. So let's talk about the battery. Inside this 5.5-inch smartphone rests a 3000 mAh battery with quick charge 3.0 support. On paper we're promised 24 hours of talk time or up to 14 days of standby. Let's leave the paper aside and go to our tests, and this requires obviously a bunch of screenshots. So we had a continuous HD video playback in a loop time of 11 hours and 41 minutes, which is excellent, basically one season of Netflix. And it beats the Asus Zenfone 3 and Galaxy S6 Edge Plus, but scores slightly below the iPhone 7 and the Google Pixel XL. Now in the PC Mark test, the one that simulates continuous usage, let's see the score there. Should be here somewhere, we have a lot of tests. Finally, 7 hours and 48 minutes, I honestly expected more. It's a good score, don't get me wrong, but I expected something in the range of 8-9 hours, because that's the norm now. It beats the Xiaomi Mi 5 and the Huawei P10, but scores below the Galaxy S8 and the Google Pixel XL. At least we have good news on the charging front, 1 hour and 47 minutes, which is quite okay, and the equal of the Huawei P10 Plus, also superior to the Google Pixel XL. We did a step-by-step charge, and basically 5 minutes is 8%, 15 minutes is 25% battery level. And after 1 hour you should get about 79% battery level, so that's not bad at all. Now of course you can tweak your power usage. We got your battery optimization right here, we got your power saver mode, reducing vibration feedback, location services, and so forth. Extreme power saving, so you can extend battery life by only using the basic features, and that's about it. I would say it's a pretty reasonably good battery. It doesn't break records, but it's quite solid. Now on the acoustics front, things get juicy. We have a bottom speaker here, and we're also using the earpiece. So the top thing delivers the tweeter and the bottom thing the woofer, so those are the speakers working in tandem. We have the boom sound mode, and it lets you tweak between music mode and theater mode, but let's actually get the ball rolling and enter play music, play some tunes, and activate those modes. So let's go here and play this tune. Okay, so as you just heard, an excellent experience, very loud, very clear, perfect bass. I actually covered the speaker at the bottom and the one at the top to discern between the highs and the lows. Anyway, very loud, excellent bass, highs and voice, and quite happy with it. But as usual, HTC does not include an equalizer. Now we also did a bunch of other tests, like the decibel meter 1, and here are the scores we achieved. So 89.3 decibels at the front lower area, so basically here, 79.5 decibels at the front top area, those are with a special acoustic sample, and 94.6 decibels with the game Riptide GP Renegade. In real life, frankly, it feels like it's over 100 decibels, to be honest. Now, with the core results, the ones from the sample would be the HTC 10, the HTC U Ultra, but the HTC U Ultra actually beat us in the Riptide GP Renegade test by 4 decibels, where at least we beat the Galaxy S8 overall. Now the headphones, people are going crazy over them, everybody's talking about them. Here they are, they're premium U-Sonic headphones, and they look very nice. They actually look premium, they fit perfectly in the ear, it's as if you were born with them inside the ear. They have a pretty thick wire, so there would be no breakage anytime soon, and they connect via USB Type-C. There's no audio jack here, they connect like this, triggering special options here in this area. And I have to say I'm pretty happy with them, happy with the bass, with the volume, with the noise isolation. And also you can tweak your experience. You go here, you got your U-Sonic here, and you can create your very own audio profile. This will emit a special frequency wave that maps your internal ear and creates your unique profile on Earth. So out of all the people on Earth, you have a unique profile because there aren't many people with similar internal ears. So excellent headphones and overall excellent acoustics. By the way, those are high resolution headphones. Now it's time to address the cameras. So this phone is sort of a champion. The XO Mark has it on the first spot, and let's try and find out why. So at the back, 12 megapixel camera with dual LED flash, ultra pixel 3.0 sensor, and ultra speed autofocus, BSI sensor, optical image stabilization, and f1.7 aperture. At the front, a kicker 16 megapixel shooter for the selfies with f2.0 aperture, and I'm going to close up things here. Now the camera app starts up quite fast. We left it in selfie mode, and let's see what we can do with it. We got our usual thingy here, and this camera snaps pictures very fast, as you can well see. Pretty fluid zoom, and the focus also excellent. Not exactly Galaxy S8 level, but very, very close. Now, if you've seen a review of the HTC U Ultra, we have the exact same interface. We got your photo with resolution here and aspect. We got your timer, panorama, Pro with its sub options like white balance, exposure, ISO, shutter and focus, hyperlapse, video, slow motion, selfie photo, panorama and video. And something interesting here, you can do JPEG or RAW capture. And when it comes to video, you can shoot in 4K if you want, and you can also use 3D audio and do an acoustic focus. So if you have an orchestra in front of you, you can focus on a certain instrument. Now that's the interface, so let's go to the gallery of shots we took. Okay, so it's gallery time. We go to photos and I'm going to look into the gallery. As you can see, a ton of pictures. We never hold back when it comes to taking pics. And here we go. We took them in 2 separate cities and we even ran into a concert. The first city was pretty cloudy, was close to sunset. And I have to say, I'm pretty happy with the colors here. The clarity, the details and the texture of the flowers. You can zoom in all you want. And even for a 12 megapixel shooter, it catches some excellent details. I would say if you took the shots with a 20 megapixel camera and with this one, well, the details are pretty close, even though it's a lower resolution. I took this shot to highlight that it was rather cloudy, and even in spite of that, excellent lighting. And when the phones encounter sun and clouds together, they will get pretty messed up dynamic ranges, but not this one. The panorama was pretty wide, pretty clear and detailed. There's a bright here. Okay, so 12,346 over 1450 pixels, big, but luckily not very curved. Some phones take curved panoramas, which are annoying. This is a selfie. I'm, let's say, not very impressed with it because the skin texture is unimpressive, the background not the clearest in the world, and it feels covered with a bit of a fog. So expected a bit more from this, but I will take further selfies to convince myself it was not just a missed shot because of a dirty lens, let's say. Even more shots of flowers. When it comes to macros, this phone knows all the tricks. We got a good dynamic range, we got good close-ups and shots from afar, and we even played with the zoom. So we zoomed onto a bright here, we're quite far, we kept zooming, and that's the regular distance, that's the first level of zoom, and no, that's actually the regular distance. So as you can see, the bride and groom are very far, that's zoom level 1, and that's the final level of zoom, and it's quite impressive. Okay, so more shots here, and this is a classic example of HDR done right. Actually very right. And also this is one of the phones that gets the hue of green properly. The Huawei P10 Plus had problems in that area, this one doesn't. And it also gets the clouds right. On sunny days, sun phones will not give you clouds, they'll give you a blank blue or white sky, not this one. So everything is excellent here, flagship level. It can beat the Galaxy S8 on equal terms, it beats the Huawei P10, and it can also fight the Google Pixel XL and the iPhones on equal terms. Now that's captured during the day, and during the first town we have a second round of captures, which you can see here. Once again, excellent hues of green, great close-ups, nice focus, pretty good dynamic range. Loving the texture of the lockets, nice sky. So about 300 shots were taken, so you'll have a lot to enjoy in our text review. Now let's go to the nighttime shots, because they're rather interesting. They're very bright. I would say that because I went back to my review of the Galaxy S8 and I compared them, and guess what? They feel slightly brighter on the HTC U11. Now, this shot, usually we always take a photo with this hydrant, and some phones, well, you cannot tell there's a hydrant here, there's simply a red shade. Here it's so bright you can tell it's a hydrant, and with the flash on it's even better, as you can see. Okay, so we're happy with the brightness, texture of the buildings, and my only objection here, albeit a small one, is that things are a bit too yellow for my taste. I know the lighting is yellow and the pavement is yellow and some buildings are yellow, but if you go back to the HTC 10 last year, things weren't as yellow. And also the streetlight halos are a bit bigger than what we saw on the Galaxy S8, but once again the brightness is daylight for low light capture. The halos are mid-sized, and aside from the yellowish thing in the halos, the capture during the night is mint. It should be the best HTC phone so far when it comes to picture taking, so now let's see the videos. So videos, I said. Okay, let's start from the beginning, and we took some 4K clips, some Full HD MP4, 30 frames per second, 20 mega per second video captures. And let's take them one by one. We also have some music recordings here. Do not want to breach any sort of copyright, so let's try this one. Okay, so we also caught other music representations from these guys, so I would say that the microphone is excellent. It faced the highest of keys and the lowest of bass, and as you know, it has a special system that lets you focus on certain areas for recording, and folks, it works. Now I want to talk about actual filming, not the random one, so let's go here. First of all, let's see if the optical image stabilization checks out or not, and I have bad news. Things start to flicker. As you can see, the image is trembling, so the stabilization is not very impressive. The colors are quite good, quite vivid, almost too vivid, one would say. The brightness is okay, the texture is also nice, and I'm pretty worried about the stabilization thing. Here are the vivid colors I promised you. Good focus, no problems here, but there's a slight bug. Every time you zoom in, the image would feel curved. It's as if someone took the image and did something like this with it. That's the sensation I get. Every time I zoom, that's the sensation. So that's one bug. So stabilization and that thingy, otherwise close to perfect video capture. Although sometimes the hues of colors are not exactly to my liking, so in the end a bit below what the Galaxy S8 offered. This is one of the better ones, one of the better videos, and of course we also have the 4K ones. Everything looks nice. And in some shots the zoom was quite okay, we didn't lose any details. It feels more like it's fighting the Huawei P10 and the Galaxy S8, that's for sure. And frankly speaking, I was overwhelmed by the quality of the Google Pixel XL video, and this one feels slightly below it. That's daytime. Let's go to the nighttime, where things are disappointing, to be honest. They're too yellow, the streetlight halos are too big, and as you can see, the image is shaking. It's as if it were too hot and we got that optical illusion of shaky image, you know, where we're in the desert, it's very hot and the image is trembling. That's the problem. We also have motion blur with moving objects, the mic remains good, clarity is okay, and I would say the brightness is fine for low light capture, but once again, it's a flagship, we wanted more, the Google Pixel XL was better and the Galaxy S8 as well. With the camera done and with the photos being stellar while the videos not so much, time to check out other aspects like the browser. Okay, so let's address other aspects like the web browser. For example, we got Chrome here, and let's load up gsmdom.com. Here we go, GSM DOM. As you can see, we're using a special type of keyboard, you'll see it in a minute, and the loading speed may not be the best in the world, but we had some pretty stellar browser benchmarks, I have to admit. Okay, so we got touchpad here in action with pretty big keys and quite comfy. Now we move further to connectivity. As you can see, there is no audio jack here, there's an USB Type-C port. Here also no audio jack, quite a few microphones, 4 from what I know. There is a single SIM or dual SIM setup here. There is a VoLTE calling, Wi-Fi calling, 4G LTE with LTE category 16 in case you were wondering. We got speed dial, large dial pad and a few extra settings here. There's NFC, Bluetooth 4.2, Wi-Fi AB, GNAC, even Chromecast, DLNA, AirPlay, Miracast, everything is covered, so you can connect to all the devices you can imagine or fancy. Now, the calls are loud and clear, we have superb noise cancelling and the signal never gave us trouble. We also did a bunch of tests when it came to the connectivity, and this amounted to a bunch of screenshots which I'm going to show you. Here we go. So the speed test revealed in 4G 88 Mbps downloads, 27 Mbps uploads, and in Wi-Fi 216 Mbps downloads, 25 Mbps uploads. All the results are quite solid. Time to discuss the OS, UI and applications. We're running on Android 7.1 with HTC Sense on top, and the main novelty here is Edge Sense. So if you squeeze the edges of the phone, you can trigger the camera, for example. You can do that with the screen on or with the screen off. You simply have to squeeze it like this and the function is activated. But it's also tweakable, and it's about to receive an update that triggers 6 more features. Okay, so if you go to Edge Sense, you can customize your squeeze action, launch the camera app, Google Voice Assistant, launch any app you want from the list, take a screenshot, turn the flashlight on, voice recording, Htc Sense Companion and more. You can also adjust the squeeze force level here and enable the advanced mode so you can do 2 squeeze gestures. We got your short squeeze and the squeeze and hold, each one of them associated to a certain app or feature. So that's about it. Let me just change the action so no longer it launches the camera app, rather it takes a screenshot now. So let's try it out. Squeezing, taking a screenshot, and that's about it. That's the big Edge Sense that everybody's talking about. Now, other things worth mentioning. The leftmost home screen is the highlights one, and you can include here a variety of stuff from a variety of sources. We got YouTube, News Republic, Calendar, Facebook, Google+, LinkedIn, mealtime recommendations, Twitter, Under Armour. Wingit is basically an alternative to Flipboard, but I think it's a better one. It's better organized and I'm liking the interface a bit more. Now if you press the home screen, there are a lot of tweakables. There's the theme. A couple of years ago, HTC launched something that allowed you to take a picture and extract the colors from that picture and create your very own theme. This still applies, and it's one of the coolest features when it comes to personalizing the look of your handset's UI. Now here, we also have wallpapers, apps and widgets. These are the widgets, some stock, some typical for HTC. Okay, and we also have edit page, set a new home page. What's new? Sense home settings with updates, team notifications, designer updates, and you can personalize HTC Sense Home from here to bring you relevant apps and info based on your interest and location. Okay, so that's about it in this area, and as usual the HTC Sense UI is filled with gray, green and white. It's very sober but also at the same time pretty cool. Now in the settings area, let's see what's special and what's new. So we got on body detection, so you can keep your device unlocked while it's on you. Only one of the many options that are suggested in this area. Connectivity, personalize with many options. Okay, fingerprint scanner, location, security, get content from another phone, Edge Sense, HTC Boom Sound, HTC U Sonic with active noise cancelling, calls, power, memory, and I'm back to the fingerprint scanner to test it up. So it's here embedded into the home button. We can add a new fingerprint, secure it with a pin. which should be more complex than this one I'm using right now. And the setup goes like this. It's about 17 steps long, and you should alternate between the positions of your finger on the sensor to get things going. It's all done. Okay, and let's see just how efficient and fast we can unlock the screen. As you can see, it's doing fine. A simple tap and it's unlocked. Okay, so that was a fast unlock. Next up, there is the HTC Sense Companion. You already saw it on the HTC U Ultra. Now, several months have passed. It's a bit more evolved now. What it does, it's like a friend that's giving you a bump, or it's nudging you. It's telling you wear a coat today, it's raining, or be careful, your plane is leaving, or you should charge the phone, or call that person you forgot to call. And these suggestions will appear here with a special blue bar. It's like a friend telling you what to do, but it's rather limited now. It takes a longer while to get to know you and learn what to suggest. The umbrella, the plane, sports, restaurants, call someone, and other things like that. Pretty cool, but it has to learn from you in a longer while. Now the apps, we got 41 pre-installed apps, and you can remove most of them. So if I want to remove Facebook, come on, I can simply uninstall it by pressing here that option. Now, other useful things, we got Boost Plus, which allows you to clean the junk, boost the device, manage apps, lock apps, optimize the power. We got Instagram, we got News Republic, and we got Zoe Video Editor, which allows you to create a special clip, the special filter and background music from your content on the device. And those are the pre-installed apps. Of course, there's also Under Armour, Facebook, and a few more. Now it's time for the verdict of the HTC U11. On the Pro side, we got excellent acoustics, a pretty nice and original design. The screen is pretty okay in spite of what the lux meter has shown, and I would say that performance is stellar right now. This is one of the best smartphones, if not the best, in the benchmarks we tested. The pictures are excellent, the ones taken with the back camera. We got very good connectivity, and you can use multiple assistants on this phone. I'm talking about Google Assistant, Amazon Alexa, and HTC Sense Companion, so that's nice to have. We got the Edge Sense, which by the way can be used underwater. I forgot to mention that, but it's a big feature. You can trigger features you couldn't before underwater. And finally, you got directional audio capture via the whole microphone 3D thing. Now on the cons side, those are the pros. Now the cons, well, the continuous usage could be better. I'm talking about the battery. The phone is slippery, selfies were unimpressive, and the video stabilization when filming should be better for a flagship of 2017. Also, the nighttime video capture was a bit underwhelming, and I have to admit that this whole Edge Sense thing is a bit of a gimmick, let's face it, as is the HTC Sense Companion for now. In the end, this phone is able to beat the HTC 10, the predecessor, in acoustics, battery, and design, and also some of the main camera picks. It's below it in selfies and video capture. However, it's the highest performing HTC phone money can buy at the moment. It's got the best looking design and comfort of any HTC phone on the market, and that's got to count for something. So this is it from gsn.com, the best HTC phone that money can buy. And I feel that it's enough of an upgrade from the HTC 10 to be worth the buy, but only if you're a fan of glassy and glossy phones. Other than that, well, you can stick to your HTC 10, at least in the video capture area. This is it from gsn.com. Bye bye.